how to detach from yourself. See, a lot of us are very attached to ourselves. Whatever we think we are thinking this. A lot of thoughts we have in our minds, and we think, oh, I am thinking this. Whatever you feel, whatever emotion you're feeling, you think whatever emotion you're feeling, every emotion that you feel makes you believe something. If it's defense, if it's strong, it's gonna make you believe something, which you may not even believe when you're outside of it. Like anger can do this, like in different types of like in one moment you believe you can do something, but in another moment you believe that you can't. It's because of the way you're feeling, and because you're not detached from the way that you're feeling, whatever it is. Many things, because these are just emotions, but because there is no observation, because we are not taught to observe these things, so we are very attached to them. And when we are when we are very attached to them, there isn't, like, there's no distance. Like, you are very attached. This is you. This is your emotions, and like there's so too much attachment. And to be able to observe that, to be able to detach from that, you have to observe whatever you feel. You get thoughts in your mind. Let's say you in a certain scenario, it takes a bit of time. You go in a certain scenario, certain kind of thoughts come in your mind. Now what's going to happen, because there is no observation, you're going to actually think those thoughts rather than saying, oh, I am getting these kind of thoughts. Same with feelings, emotions. You may go into certain situations and you're going to feel different things. And if you're not a little detached, or if you can't observe, you're going to actually believe whatever the emotion is telling you to believe, or whatever kind of thoughts is giving you through your mind, right? Whatever. Through your mind, or whatever, that how you would say that. And you would just believe that. But if there's observation, you would be like, oh, I am feeling this way. I understand this emotion, whatever it is, it's making me believe this, but I don't have to believe this, because it's just making me believe this, because I have observation now, so I don't have to believe it, right? And it takes a bit of time, let's be honest. And it's not easy to do, but over time it becomes natural. Now, how do you actually go about doing this? Every single day, at different times of the day, try to observe what kind of thoughts you have in your mind. Even write them if you want to see a pattern, right? You can set specific time. Oh, I'm going to write what kind of thoughts I'm getting a certain, let's say in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, whenever. And there will always be a pattern, and especially in different scenarios, like in a specific, like you go to a certain place, you feel certain thing. You may not be able to observe it, but because you're just too attached. But when you are observant about it, and you're like, oh, I'm feeling this, but then you're also going to be understanding that, oh, it's because of this. It's because, like, I'm obviously, I could give examples. But that's kind of how you would go about detaching from yourself. Because it also goes into this. If you want to change who you are, it's hard to do that when you're very attached to yourself. What do I mean by that? When you want to do something which you don't normally do, that's basically changing yourself. Let's say you're fat and you don't like going to the gym, you don't like exercising, right? Now, because you're attached to the identity that you're fat, you're just gonna be like, yeah, I'm fat, and like that is stronger, so that's gonna take over this thing, which is that I need to exercise, because that's not stronger. And for it to be stronger, you just have to, that thing, you have to kind of push yourself. Over time it will happen. But also, observation can help with this as well. When you're observant that, yeah, my mind is giving me these kind of, like in different situations, you're just going to be able to easily observe, oh, my mind is giving me these kind of thoughts, rather than actually believing what your mind is telling you. Same with emotions. So when you're detached from yourself, it's easier to change who you are, because when you're attached to yourself, you don't really want to change. You might say you want to change, but then look at your actions. You don't. Why? Because you're very attached. So what do? Try to observe your thoughts in different times of the day, and especially if you meet someone, observe what kind of thoughts you have. What do you feel, right? If you go to a certain place, observe your thoughts, observe your emotions, and try to See it like oh, I'm feeling this, rather than just, obviously it takes time. You will just like, when a certain thought is just going to come in your mind, if you are not at that point where you can observe this, you're just going to think about it, because there isn't any observation. Like, let's say this is your mind, right? A thought comes and it's just in my, like, it just comes, right? Let's say this is awareness, that you're aware that whatever you're thinking. A thought comes, you're just gonna think about it. You're not even gonna be like, where did this come from? Because there isn't any observation. You're just gonna think about it. So that is how you would go about detaching from yourself, and it's very important. We talk about, oh, you need to detach. You need to be detached from others, but what about yourself? I feel it's more important to be detached from yourself, because you look at yourself like, rather, you look at yourself like as a human being, rather than, oh, I am me. No, you're not you're a human being, so you are going to get different kind of thoughts in different kind of situations. Like, just observe stuff like that, and it's going to help with understanding people as well. That's that for this video.